Hey, good morning, guys. Good afternoon, I should say. Welcome to another edition of Let 'em Run here on Saturday, May 17th. Got the big race going today down there in Baltimore, Maryland. The Preakness. Got some information coming up from Baltimore regarding this tremendous race. 9 runners in the race, no scratches to the best of the information I currently have. The track both the turf and the dirt down at Gulfstream. I'm sorry. Well, turf and dirt Gulfstream are fast and firm. Turf and dirt at the Pimlico currently are good. But by the time the Preakness shows up at around 7 p.m., I'd imagine could be fast. At the very least, right now, they're calling it good. So you're talking about a good 6-7 hours from now, very likely to be looking at a fast track for the running of the 150th Preakness. So we're going to take a look at what we always do on Let 'em Run. Been pretty hot there down at Gulfstream Park with some really good picks. Got some live runners today. Got some prices that we're going to look at. And again, check us out in terms of looking at the pick 6 or the pick 5. That's what we're looking at, the late pick 5 at Gulfstream Park. We're talking about races 7 through 11. And so let's begin right now. We'll take a look first at race 7 at Gulfstream Park, which is a 1 mile and 16th turf race, optional claiming, 25K non-winners of 1. In this race, there were no scratches. So, the 9 scratched, which is a big scratch. That was also eligible, so it's a field of 8. The 9 was our first choice, Smiling Ellie. We talked about Smiling Ellie on our podcast on Thursday, where we do our one-horse wonders. Smiling Ellie was our one-horse wonder, but we can't wonder about her anymore. So we're going to go to our next pick, which was the number 8, Curlin's Girl. Morning line 6-1. Recently changed to trainer Safi Joseph Jr., who hits 30% off the first claim. So that's a pretty good, solid number. And, of course, you got jockey Francesco Arrieta, who is becoming a pretty hot jockey down there at Gulfstream Park. So I would definitely keep this horse in mind. Certainly working out well for the return. Been off a little while, but working out well for the return. And Safi Joseph Jr. knows how to get a horse ready to run off of a layoff. The other horse is probably the very likely favorite, the number 6 horse, Ashima. Clear favorite, looking for 6 in a row. Solid horse, for sure. I mean, that's an understatement saying it's a solid horse, but certainly the deserved 9-5 favorite. Small question, not a big deal, but never traveled this distance before on turf, 1 mile and 16th on the firm turf. This horse, the number 6 horse, Ashima, has not traveled that distance before. I don't think it's going to be a big negative, but something to keep in mind. So again, race 7, the 8, Curlin's Girl at 6-1, and the number 6, Ashima at 9-5, the likely, again, morning line favorite for sure. Post-time favorite, 100%. Okay, if we go to race 8 now, it's another 1 mile and 16th, but this time we're on a synthetic down at Gulfstream Park. I look at this race as a real head scratcher. You can check out our post that we wrote on Florida Sports Talk, and I want to thank Jim Williams for putting that together in the absence of my buddy Sean Miller, is over in Europe watching some pretty good soccer from what I understand. Sean's a big soccer guy. I hope he's having a good time over there. Sean, a little shout out to you. And Jim Williams for, again, putting this together on the Florida Sports Talk, our article that we wrote up where we talk about all these horses. So the next race, race 8 on synthetic, 1 mile and 16th. Again, head scratcher for sure. I went with the number 5, Bonmonte. I'm going to take a swing with this horse, getting in light with a new apprentice down there at Gulfstream Park. And hey, new apprentice, they know how to ride. They need a chance. Getting in light with Luis Fuenmayor. Going back to synthetic, the horse is. I think it could be the speed if it gets a clean break. And trainer Jose Castro has solid stats to go with why I like this horse at 8-1. So taking a flyer with this horse, has a good chance. Again, interested in see how this jockey, this new apprentice jockey who's getting a big weight break in this race, which could help the speed of this horse and give it a better chance to get out and stay out front if he gets brave. The next horse we took a look at was the number 3, Aranciata, strong Aranciata. Edgar Zayas. Again, if you follow Gulfstream Park, you know Edgar Zayas is the best jockey, if not one of the best jockeys down there at Gulfstream Park. He stays aboard this filly who, if you look at the last race, had no shot at all going out. So I'll put a line through that race because it was also going short on synthetic, had no shot. Don't think gave the horse much of a chance. Now the horse is stretching out again. Zayas being on the horse is the key. He knows how to dole out fractions. Very good for a horse to last a length of a marathon, a long race, a route race, a mile and 16th on a synthetic. The next horse that we looked at and we picked on was the number 4 horse, China Blue. Probably going to be the morning line favorite, or is the morning line favorite, but could be the post time favorite as well, 3-1. Led for a long way last time out. And one of the other hot jockeys down there at Gulfstream Park, Edwin Gonzalez, stays aboard for trainer Jose D'Angelo. They work a lot together. And I think if our top pick, the 8-1, number 5, Bonmonte, doesn't fire and doesn't last, I think you're going to see a little duel between these two, the number 5, Bonmonte, and number 4, China Blue, that may set up for another horse like the 3, Aranciata. So it's a good race to look at. Very interesting on synthetic because that runs a lot like turf speed, holds up good on it. It's been very firm and dry down there in Gulfstream Park, so that track, the synthetic, should be nice and tight and lend itself to some speed. Okay, race 9. Race 9. This is a 5 furlong turf sprint stakes race, the Roar Stakes, 75,000. Nice little sprint race. Again, 5 furlongs on the turf. Our number 1 pick, the number 2, Rolando, got scratched out. So we're going to take a look instead at the next 2 horses we like. The number 5, Irish bred Ortley Avenue, 5-2 morning line. This colt won very impressively first out. If you check the replay of this race with Edwin Gonzalez, who takes the mount this time for trainer George Weaver. Only small negative, might be a little bit. Not so sure it's terrible, but George Weaver is 0 for 16 going from synthetic to turf. Take that as you will. But at 5-2, this horse is very likely to continue to be a favorite in spite of that slightly negative statistic for George Weaver. The next horse we like is the number 4, Most Handsome. One of my favorite jockeys down there, Jaramillo, speed jockey, knows how to get a horse out. He came off the 5 horse Ortley Avenue, and he's back on this horse who he ran on before. He guided to a solid victory last time out. So obviously there's a reason why he got back on this horse, rode him to victory last time out, got a good chance to ride him to victory again here in this race at 4-1 morning line. So again, race 9, a nice 5 furlong turf sprint stakes race, the number 5 Ortley Avenue and the number 4 Most Handsome. Now, this is where the action happens, where the action is scratched out. In race 10, of course, our 1 horse wonder we talked about on Thursday night was the number 3, Grand Mo the First, gone. On our story that we put together, and again, thank you, Jim Williams, for putting that up on Florida Sports Talk, the number 5, Big Data, nope, gone. And our third horse that we like, the number 7, Hades, gone. Top 3 picks we like, goodbye. Went back, reloaded, and came up with a couple other different horses, so we're going to talk about them in a minute. But back to why we do this podcast at 12:30 on Saturday, because the scratches can make a huge difference in the flow of the race, a huge difference in the horses we pick, and I think that's a big difference. So, again, we had to reload, no problem. Got time, reloaded. Here's a couple horses that we like. Very interesting. This horse, number 6, Loco of Barrio. 3rd off the layoff, has a lot of early pace. Interesting at a price. Price is 20-1 morning line. And the other is I like is the hot jockey down there. Again, Jose Morales gets aboard this horse. Seems to get out and quit a lot sometimes. Gets brave. Again, a couple of those, got 3 scratches in the race now, so it's a little smaller field. May not get a lot more challenges from some of the other horses. So we're looking at a 20-1 shot as a possibility. The next horse, number 4, we took a look at Lightning Tones, taking a big drop in class. He is the number 1 prime power, which, again, if you listen to our podcast in the past, you know that we take a lot of insight from the Brisnet website, and the number 1 prime power means a lot in terms of how they rate the horses, in terms of breeding, the track, the surface they're running on, et cetera, et cetera. Also interesting, this horse and the next horse ran against some big time horses. This horse, the number 4 Lightning Tones, ran last out against White Barrio, and before that against Mindframe in some grade 1 and grade 2 races. So you're talking about some classy horses. Now, again, this horse is in a mile on dirt and an optional claiming 62,000. So trying to get back to a comfortable level where this horse might have a better opportunity to ride to victory and get their picture taken again. So, there's a couple other nice horses in this race too, if you look at the body of the field. But the next horse I look at, extremely interesting, New Grange. If you followed some horse racing, you've heard that name before. His last out, he went against White Barrio, Skippy Longstocking, and Locked. Think of those 3 names: White Barrio, Locked, and Skippy Longstocking. All 3 of those horses are classy grade 1 horses. And that's who he raced against last out. So New Grange at 5-1 on the rail could get a ground saving trip. Last time he got eased up, didn't have a chance, didn't push him very hard. They're both coming off a layoff. So again, our top 3 scratches or horses we liked got scratched. So we're going to go with the number 6 Loco Barrio at a price, a flyer. Use that horse in your exacta bets. Could get a piece of the action. May even get brave and win. The number 4 Lightning Tones raced in some classy race against some classy horses last couple times out. And the number 1 New Grange, again, another horse who previously raced against some seriously classy horses. So we're going to move on now to the last race in the sequence of the Pick 5, and this is another little stakes race. It's a mile and 16th on turf, the Mr. Steele Stakes, $75,000 stakes race. Interesting in the sense, again, our top pick, the number 3, Abramar, who the morning line was 2-1, definitely going to be the morning line, the post-time favorite for sure when the odds came out. He got scratched. So we're going to go to our next 2 horses that we looked at. The number 8 is a price, Degree of Risk. I'm taking a chance here with this Nolan Ramsey run. There's a good trainer down there. Maybe it doesn't get as much familiarity or name recognition as Sappy Joseph Jr. or some of the other trainers, Victor Barboza. He had a bad trip out last time, and that didn't help. So that may make why his odds are 12-1. I didn't see this horse being 12-1 when I analyzed the race without the odds, which is what we do, what I do. I go through the past performances on Monday or Tuesday, and there are no odds posted yet, and I love that because I won't be afraid of a horse. If I see, it's 20-1, I don't like that horse. If there's something in that past performance that I like, I don't know what his odds are. I put them in there, and the same goes for this horse, number 8, Degree of Risk. His morning line currently is 12-1. Nolan Ramsey, again, good trainer down there, 35% second off a layoff. This horse is coming in second off a layoff, and trainer Ramsey hits at 35%. And again, that statistic is found on Brisnet, different than what you see on the past performances in the DRF or some of the other areas that you can look at past performances. So again, that's why I love Brisnet. You get some stats that sometimes are not quite found in some of the other venues when you're looking around. So again, the number 8, Degree of Risk. The number 1 horse is the other horse I also like, Just a Photo, morning line 6-1. And this horse on the row, I think, could secure a little ground saving trip. You got jockey Jose Morales on him. Got an opportunity if he gets a nice ground saving trip in this mile and 16th turf race, and then Jose Morales wheels him out to the outside and starts picking some horses off at the end. I kind of like this horse for that reason. Again, Jose Morales is a very good jockey in Gulfstream Park. The horse is coming in third off the layoff, so that creates another reason to like this horse. So again, in race 11, we like the number 8, Degree of Risk at 12-1, and the number 1, Just a Photo at 6-1. So those are our picks for the late pick 5 at Gulfstream Park. Now, and I'll do this in honor of my man Sean Miller. That's his signature. When he does this, this means something serious is coming. So something serious is coming now, and we're going to break down and talk a little bit about the Preakness. And as I mentioned before, the Preakness is looking like by the time we get to the 7 o'clock post time, the track should certainly be closer to fast than good. It's listed as good now. And so that will be something to keep an eye on. But the post time for that is around 7 p.m. So we got plenty of time to check that out. So let's talk about the race a little bit. Okay, some of the statistics. Interesting. Again, one of the classiest, coolest trainers, Dwayne Lucas, has won it 7 times. So certainly his horse is going to get a lot of looks. American Promise, the number 3 horse. Again, I mentioned this on our podcast on Thursday night. One of the funniest interviews. I can't remember who the analyst was for TVG. Was interviewing Dwayne Lucas prior to last year's race when he won that race with drawing a blank. Who was anyway? Dwayne Lucas trained the winner of last Preakness last year, and the analyst said to Dwayne Lucas, "So Dwayne, you've won this race a couple times." So and Dwayne Lucas interrupted him and said, "No, I won it 6 times." I thought that was tremendous. If you look at the replay of that, it's hilarious. Anyway, so one of the things that's interesting to note about this race is that horses that are in the front early in the first half mile, they tend to win. So not a lot of closers come in very quickly to maybe they'll get a piece, but to win. So early speed in the Preakness is a big plus. The 6 of the last 20, so that's like 30% of the winners were leading in the opening half mile. So 6 out of 20 of the last Preakness winners, 6 of the last 20 were leading after the first opening half mile. And that's 30%. Now, what's even more impressive, looking at the statistic that follows that statistic, is that 16 of the last 20 were racing in front, in the front of the field, meaning the top 5 or 6 runners. In this case, maybe the top 4 or 5, since it's a field of 9. After the opening half mile. So again, a horse that can get to the front, not necessarily in the lead, perhaps. Again, as the statistics show, 6 out of the last 20 were front runners that won, leading the whole way. And then 16 of the last 20 were in the opening mile in the front of the field. So the top 4 or 5 in the front. So that gives me reason to like the horse I'm about to talk about right now. The number 8 is Clever Again, being ridden by Jose Ortiz. This horse is probably the freshest horse in the field. Again, there's 3 horses in this race that came from the Derby. Of course, the likely favorite, Journalism, deserved favorite, coming off 2 weeks post from the Derby. The American Promise, the horse we mentioned previously, Dwayne Lucas's horse, and Sandman, who's going to get a lot of play because he's a big-time closer. But again, the closers in the Preakness, I don't think do as well as horses that are up front early. That's basically based on statistics that we've looked at and checked out. So again, there's an interesting mix of 9 horses in this field. To this moment, there's no scratches that we're aware of. So again, there's really there is speed in this race, that's for sure. If you look at the speed in terms of which horses have speed, have early speed, there's lots of them. But only 2 horses have what Brisnet calls the E factor, which is early, meaning they like to get to the front and they want to get to the front. And there's only 2 horses who have that. One of those is the horse I like, the number 8, Clever Again. And the other one is number 3, American Promise, Dwayne Lucas's horse. But the number 8 horse, Clever Again, is much classier, much better, much faster than the number 3 horse. So I can see the number 8 horse coming from the 8 post, circling right around the horses, getting to the front, and hopefully staying there in this race that goes off at 7 o'clock and is run at 1 mile and 3/16. So I think that's the reason why the 8 horse Clever Again has a big chance, because there are many horses in this race that have speed, but only 2 have what's called the E factor, which is the early factor when Brisnet labels these horses in their running style. And again, that horse is fresh. He's raced 3 times. He's coming 3rd off a layoff. And he's the only other horse other than the favorite, Journalism, who has a triple Beyer speed figure. He ran a 101 last out, is what the number 8 horse Clever Again did. So you got to take a good look at that horse. And I think that gives him a big chance. So that's my pick for the Preakness. I want to know what your pick is. I want to wish you good luck. And thank you again for watching our podcast. I'm going to step away to the side for a second so you can see our nice Let 'em Run banner because I'm going to say this, that I am currently working on putting together a new studio so it looks a little bit nicer when you see my face on these podcasts that we do, and even better when you see my man Sean Miller coming back from Europe and checking out all his soccer activity out there. I forget if he likes Man U or Chelsea. I don't know anything about soccer except it's round, they kick it and it goes in the goal and they go, goal. Anyway, so thank you for watching. Good luck. It's going to be a great day. Hope you do well. And thanks again for watching Let 'em Run. Adios. Whoops. I always do this. Got to hit it twice.